From KTVU Fox 2 San Francisco, plaintiffs in lawsuit speak out as Tenderloin sinks into chaos.
New at 5, for the first time, we are hearing from the plaintiffs behind a lawsuit aimed at the city of San Francisco over conditions in the Tenderloin district. KTVU's Christian Cafton joins us live. And Christian, these residents say they want the city to make a decisive action to put an end to open-air drug markets and homeless encampments. Is that right? They
obviously are not going to do that ever, but I thought it was all getting better, right? Shoplifting was down, crime was down, we were cleaning the streets up, we were making a hard right turn on everything, but apparently that's not the case. We even cleaned up 3 city blocks for the dictator of China. What happened to that? All out the window.
Yeah, Crystal, those residents say it doesn't seem fair to them. They say that they pay their taxes like everyone else, but they say they don't get to enjoy the safe, clean streets that...
Oh, they pay their taxes? That is the one thing that you're not supposed to do. They are not going to go to bat for you at all if you pay your taxes. They're just going to take your money and give it to a junkie. So you'd obviously be better off committing crime and doing dope under the Bay Bridge.
Other San Francisco residents do. Conditions in San Francisco's Tenderloin are the ongoing center of debate and now the center of a lawsuit filed last week.
Oh, a law. So this is not ongoing. This is from not years past. This is a lawsuit filed last week after it was all supposed to be cleaned up. There was even a report from, I believe, late 2023 where they said, oh, well, the overdoses are down after they had reached an all-time high in 2023, the most overdoses ever. And then it came down a tiny bit and they took credit for it because it coincided with more law enforcement on the street. But somehow city officials were still ready to tell KTVU News that it was too early, it was too soon to, confirm whether or not the deployment of more law enforcement on the street was keeping the overdoses down.
2023 set a grim benchmark for deadly overdoses in San Francisco. In all, the city tallied 806 overdose deaths over the course of the year.
It's been a tragic year for overdoses because more people have died this year than ever before.
Well, the city set that all-time high benchmark for deaths. As the year drew to a close, the number of overdose deaths began trending downward. 84 deaths in January, 88 in August. By December, that number had dropped to 52 overdose deaths. On social media, Mayor London Breed noted the record number of deadly overdoses. In a series of posts, she said the city must continue to offer treatment programs and that, quote, we are also enforcing drug laws to shut down open-air drug markets. The downward trend roughly coincides with the increased federal, state, and local law enforcement crackdown in the city. City officials say it's too early to attribute the trend to increased enforcement.
Right, so they deployed the cops, the CHP or whatever, to combat the problem. It actually started to work, and then they said, well, we don't know if it's the cops. What are you guys even talking about?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Someone tell me, what the F are we doing?
That's a different story.
Residents and hotels in the area say the city hasn't done enough to improve street conditions and filed a suit in federal court, saying while they pay their taxes, they don't get the same services that other city residents receive. Several of the residents chose to remain anonymous, but are speaking out now for the first time about what it's like living in the Tenderloin.
It's actually crazy. I lived in San Francisco for several years, and being there recently, it's like, how are people still doing this? I genuinely don't know.
It is dangerous to come outside. I work 3 days a week. I have to walk 2 blocks up where there's drugs going around and drug dealers.
This resident is raising 2 children in the Tenderloin and says it's not fair that they have to live in a dangerous neighborhood.
All I'm asking for is just one thing: security.
The attorney representing the plaintiff says the city has allowed the Tenderloin to sink into chaos.
Absolutely, and they're giving away free needles. They're benefiting from it, and some people could explain it much better and more in depth than I could, but there is loads of NGO, nonprofit outreach loopholes that people are taking advantage of left and right. So you sign up as a not-for-profit that's going to help the homeless, and you don't have to show one single receipt.
It's a little bit more than that, because there's evidence that the city has treated this neighborhood as the containment zone. This is where the city has directed
the containment zone. The Tenderloin has become the containment zone, kind of like Hamsterdam.
This here the spot, because Tucky says you're supposed to set up shop here. Hamsterdam.
Yeah, this is it. Set up anywhere inside where we got the white flags.
This activity, with the hope, apparently, if we can contain it to the Tenderloin, then maybe it won't spread to other neighborhoods.
San Francisco City Attorney.
You know what's kind of strange? This is maybe apples to oranges, but I remember way back in the day when graffiti in San Francisco was all the rage, and there was a place called Psycho City where you can go and do all the graffiti you wanted, and it was kind of a containment zone. Then they shut that down, and it went everywhere. So maybe they kind of have a point as far as, you know, containing it, but it's just festered into absolute mayhem. It's completely disgusting, and just like they did with Psycho City, they got rid of it. They should get rid of this too. And, you know, they want to talk about, oh, we need more services, we need more money. How about you just lock up the criminals and create a deterrent that will hopefully, because obviously everybody's not going to get off the street. Everybody's not going to clean up. But you have to create consequences, which they just refuse to do. Because, of course, they benefit from the chaos.
David Chu says everyone in the city deserves safe and clean streets, and that San Francisco is making a good faith effort, working with state and federal law officials to clear the Tenderloin. All that despite battling an injunction it says is hampering the effort.
The city has spent significant effort to reduce crime, to disrupt open.
The city has spent significant effort. You mean money that is getting wasted and filtered through the pockets of bureaucrats all over the city and the state?
Near drug dealing and address homelessness, all within the boundaries of the injunction that we are under.
Oh yeah, it's always somebody else's fault. And I'm sure with the passage of Prop 1 and the mental health and the treatment facilities, it's all going to get better, right?
The president said they were worried when they initially heard that the city had asked that their identities be revealed, saying they've already been threatened by drug dealers about coming forward. They say they're worried that having their identities revealed would be dangerous.
Oh, so they're getting bullied. So the innocent civilians of San Francisco are getting bullied by the drug dealing thugs, as well as getting bullied by the political thugs in the regime. Perfect.
What is going to happen? What's going to happen is that those people, they have threatened me to kill me. It's basically I'm not going to wake up the next morning.
The city attorney says anonymous plaintiffs are unusual and that the plaintiff's attorney didn't initially file the request properly. Once that paperwork was filed, the city attorney's office says it filed its own paperwork saying it does not oppose them remaining anonymous, leaving the matter in the hands of the judge.
The fact that they have refiled the motion reflects the fact that
that's also funny. Well, you know, these people, they shouldn't. In any other case, they would not mind an anonymous witness, right? Oh, we have anonymous sources, you know, this, that, and the other. We heard it through the grapevine, whistleblowers. But now they want the people who are complaining about the dope dealers in the Tenderloin to come forward and show their face. All right.
That first motion was inadequate. From our perspective, we don't want to put any Tenderloin residents in any harm's way. We're very sympathetic to the plight of what's happening to the Tenderloin.
Now, the question of if those plaintiffs will be asked to publicly reveal their identities is now in the hands of that judge. If the judge decides they have to reveal their identity, their lawyer says some of them will likely drop out of that case to avoid
which is exactly what they want them to do.
The possibility of retribution. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Cafton, KTVU.
Yeah, okay, so they've been talking, I guess on the plus side, they've been talking about cleaning up San Francisco for the better part of 2 decades now, and nothing's going to change. So I guess if we wanted to take the real glass half full approach, we'd just say this is a problem of yesteryear.